Make love tonight for the harvest, for the food we eat, for the very gods.
If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits, scene by scene. So you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
That's the only way to drink, I guess, right? Or to harvest.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep. That's right.
Only way to harvest. I don't even know.
Only way to harvest.
I don't even know what's happening anymore. But we're back with our full breakdown of Rebel Moon, Part 1, Child of Fire, Breaking Dawn, Twilight, Saga.
Every time you say it, it just makes it worse.
It makes it worse. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. So we did the trailer trash, and for this movie, do you want to give a quick recap of what the log line for this one?
Yeah, in case you forgot the premise here, when a peaceful settlement on the edge of a distant moon finds itself threatened by the armies of a tyrannical ruling force, a mysterious stranger living among its villagers becomes their best hope for survival.
I guess that's the thing, right? That's a log line.
I mean, it's a sentence.
It's a sentence. Now, I think for our prognostications, we got a few things right. One thing we got right was if he didn't do so many slow-mo moments in this movie, it would have been under 2 hours. So yeah, we nailed that one.
We did not nail. We thought that the trailer was going to be indicative of what happened in the movie. Right. But actually, the trailer is mostly flashbacks. Because the movie is mostly flashbacks.
Mostly flashbacks and exposition. That's pretty much all it is. So,
which is not a way to make a movie, listeners. I'm sure you know that, but Zack Snyder doesn't.
No. But hey, they're still writing him checks, so he must be doing something right.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God. But long story short, this movie is not good. And yeah, it's a little.
We nailed that.
We nailed that. Yes, we nailed that. We weren't
going to enjoy it.
No, it's pretty boring. So, do you want some quick info on this thing?
Yeah, please.
So, director is Zack Slo-mo Snyder. Mm-hmm. This movie, I think, has probably more slow-mo per movie minute than I think other of his movies. I think
you're right. I was trying to compare it in my head along the way, like how much slow-mo is in 300.
A lot,
a lot. But I think there was more.
I think this is of the 2 hours and 15-minute runtime, I think 90% is in slow-mo. So
yeah, like any battle scene in this movie. Just imagine it being in slow, like almost 100% in slow mo.
Yeah, actually, yes, every fight sequence was just in slow mo. Yes,
yeah. It's like why? It's like a nice spice. Like use it sparingly.
Yeah. You know, it's like saffron. You don't want to use too much. Just a little bit here and there, because it could be overpowering. So who wrote this fantastical thing?
Yep.
So Zack Snyder's 3 people involved with this, so we can blame 3 people. Zack Snyder directly. He came up with the story and also was part of the screenwriting crew. Yeah, that's a great point. Should be story by
a story too.
Yeah, should be story by Seven Samurai, Kurosawa, and George Lucas. Because that's pretty much all this is. And the other 2 folks here that are involved is Kurt Johnstad.
The Grip.
Yeah, so he was a writer on 300, Act of Valor, Atomic Blonde. He did that one. He did the sequel, 300 Rise of an Empire, which no one I think saw.
Nope.
But that's what he's got. He's 1997 his a video, True Vengeance, whatever that is, and then 300 was his big movie. That's going to do it for you, right?
Okay, so he's a Snyder guy.
Yeah, he's a Snyder guy. And then we got Shay Hatton, also Army of the Dead. He's a Snyder guy.
Unhappy.
He did John Wick. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah. Oh man, come on. What kind of smile is that? Like
this, like the most half-assed smile I've ever seen.
It's so sad. Army of Thieves, Army of the Dead. So again, another Netflix Snyder darling here. I know what you did last summer, the TV series. He's done.
I watched that. It was okay.
So he wrote John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, which was not good. And then he also did John Wick Chapter 4, which I didn't really like that movie. I'll be honest. I'll throw it out there. So
didn't see it either. I've never seen a John Wick. Can you believe it?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The first one's just a good old action movie, and the second one's good too. It's the third one where you're just kind of like, all right, this is just weird, rinse and repeat. The fourth one was just too long, too much.
Oh, really? I mean,
Too
I
much.
love Keanu Reeves. Friend of the
Yeah,
pod.
I mean, you can't get too much Keanu, but at a certain point, you're kind of like, all right, can we do something else here?
Mhm.
So yeah, those are the three people we need to blame for this existence.
Okay.
So, who's in this? We got Sofia Boutella. She plays Kora.
Okay. Has she done other stuff outside of this?
Yes. So Sofia Boutella, yes, she's I'm trying to think of her big one. Kingsman. She was in Star Trek Beyond. Yeah, I don't think that was like kind of her big thing.
Okay.
Yeah, she's kind of like got a lot of different things. Fahrenheit 451, Hotel Artemis, which was okay. The Mummy. I think she played the mummy in that one, or the queen thing or whatever. Yeah. Atomic
Yeah.
Blonde. That's right. She was in that. But yeah, a lot of music videos. She's a dancer. She started out as like a trained dancer. I think she's like a ballerina or stuff. So she's in like a lot of music videos, like a lot of Madonna music videos and stuff like that. A lot of them actually. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So there you go. Who else we got? Yeah, I'm gonna pronounce his name incorrectly. I didn't look it up. Maybe you can help me with this. The actor who plays General Titus. Is it
Yeah.
Djimon? Is it Djimon Hounsou?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that one.
Yeah.
Should have looked it up.
Should have looked it up. But he's been in a ton of stuff. He's been in like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like he's been in actually a ton of stuff. He was in Gladiator.
great.
He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Blood Diamond.
He has like
Black Adam. A
three
lot of
lines in this movie.
yeah, and he's just like in just a ton of stuff. So Charlie's Angels, A Quiet Place Part 2, which I didn't see. Captain Marvel,
Shazam.
right? Because that's what makes sense. Aquaman. He's all over the place, huh?
Yep.
Serenity, that was an okay one. Wayward Pines. So yeah, he's just a working man here.
I like that. A little
Yeah.
Marvel, little DC. all
Constantine.
up.
He was in that. Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, he's great.
Ed Skrein.
Wait a second. You mean 2016 nominee Teen Choice Award Choice Movie villain
Yes, that's him. That's that Ed Skrein.
for Deadpool?
Yes. He plays the villain in
That
this.
Ed Skrein?
He plays our very generic Nazi villain, Atticus Noble.
He's got a good villain face.
So yeah, Ed Skrein, yep, he played Ajax in Deadpool. He was in the Transporter. He played the villains in that. Transporter Refueled. You know, he's kind of bouncing around some stuff. He's, to me, every time I see him, he just like, I feel like he overacts sometimes.
Yep, I can
but-
see that.
Yeah. We got Michael Huisman. Or is it
Yeah, that works.
Michiel Huisman?
He's the only one I think I recognize. in this
Yeah, so
movie.
he took over. So funny enough, he took over for Game of Thrones. He played a character in Game of Thrones. I don't remember the character's name, but he took over for. So Ed Skrein was playing a character on Game of Thrones for like the first season or something, and this guy took over for him.
Oh,
Yeah,
no kidding.
yeah. So look at that. We got that connection there.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I guess he was on The Flight Attendant, which I didn't see, but I heard was great.
It is great.
yeah.
Hill House, that's what I know him from.
The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, or the biggest thing that I've seen the most minutes of him with screen time.
Yeah, I just remembered him from Game of Thrones. So yeah, he played Dario Naharis. So.
Sure.
All right, let's move along through these. I feel like I'm going really slow. We got Bae Doona plays Nemesis.
Okay.
She had the lightsabers, basically,
Yep.
the
Yep.
laser swords.
Yep. She also had like 2 lines.
Yep. Ray Fisher plays Darian Bloodaxe.
Another 2 lines.
Another 2 lines. Charlie Hunnam plays Kai, the rebel scum thief guy.
Yep.
We got Staz Nair plays Tarek, who looks just like Matthew McConaughey. Like, it's
He
almost
does.
like-
He's got kind of a McConaughey vibe. Yeah.
right? A little bit. Anthony Hopkins, voice of Jimmy,
Jimmy.
Fra Fee plays Belisarius,
Yeah.
and Simon Potter is a gray bearded man. So
Makes sense. Is Jimmy the robot?
yes, Jimmy's a robot.
Okay, great.
Yes.
I was like, that sounds like Anthony Hopkins, but I don't remember from the trailer him being a robot like that. Like, not exactly like that, but
Yeah. And that whole robot like plot line is so weird.
So dumb.
It's so dumb. It's just weird. I thought this guy looked familiar. The Fra Fee guy here. He was in Hawkeye. Watch that show with
that was a good
our friend Friend of the pod. Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah. Yep. So
The very same.
there you go. Yeah, I thought the guy looked familiar. So yeah, he was in that. So there you go. Cool. So production box office numbers, there was nothing. It did have a short theatrical release, but then just went to Netflix. But I did dig up the budget, which I think you said in Trailer Trash, but
it's got to be a lot.
106 reported 166 million, but that's for both movies. So for both parts. I guess.
It shows.
It shows. And that apparently also includes all the marketing for it. So that's
pretty good.
I'm kind of surprised, but
they will not recoup that.
Rotten Tomato score. When we did the Trailer Trash, it was at 28%. It has now gone down to 22%.
What?
Yeah.
That's a big sink.
Yeah, and 59% on the audience side, which, those are the Snyder fans, I'm sure.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Those are the people who are like, I mean, it's not really original, it's not a really good movie, but visually it's cool. 3.5 stars. It's like, no, stop that.
Yeah, it wasn't even that cool visually.
No, it wasn't. It actually looked not that great. So,
especially in a couple parts.
Yeah, I was like, I think I've seen better like ships flying around in like Blade Runner, like 1980s like sci-fi movies than I have like seen in this. Like,
definitely, yeah.
So yeah, there you go. That's all the quick info. So,
wow, great work.
Yeah, trying to do my best here. Trying to do my part. You want some fast facts?
Back me, daddy.
Here we go. Snyder initially conceived the idea for the film in college before discussing it with his buddy here, John Stad, in 1997.
All right, let me tell you how that went.
Yeah.
Dude, I just saw Star Wars. They put him in theaters again. I've just seen it for the first time. Let's do that.
We'd like a little Kurosawa because, I'm a big fan of Kurosawa because everyone is,
Right. Even more than Star Wars.
I think you're right. I think that's exactly how that played out.
The timing lines up.
Sometimes the ideas you have in college maybe don't need to be made.
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. Just most of the time. Any ideas you have in college probably aren't good. Just keep them in a shoebox somewhere.
Yep.
So Snyder
to pull it out again 10 years, 15 years later.
I guess, right? And to get $166 million to make it into 2 parts. So not only did we said this in the Trailer Trash too, I think you brought this up, but not only did he pitch it to Lucasfilms as a Star Wars movie, but he also pitched it as a video game and film to Warner Brothers Pictures a couple of times. A couple of times.
No.
Like what did he change like the next time coming in? Like,
okay,
so I've added laser swords.
Guys, picture this. I know it's hard to imagine. Laser swords. Never been done.
Never been done. You mean a lightsaber? No. These are actual swords with lasers. It was at one point planned as a TV series, and
that might have been better.
I was reading on the Wikipedia page that he's got this massive plan. He wants to turn this into his Star Wars, right? And there's all these plans for like the comic books, like side characters, storylines, and there's graphic novels planned that are going to come out next year or this year, I guess. Tabletop like board game he wants to do.
What?
It's just a full-on media onslaught of a really bad movie and characters. So,
well, at least 2
yeah,
really bad movies. Presumably,
we'll see how that one goes. But I mean, a lot of the characters do just feel like board game characters because sometimes you can't get into like a ton of backstories for board game characters. You just need enough. Like, here's a support character, here's the medic, here's the
yeah.
And all these characters,
silly named planets.
Yeah, we went to a name generator, got something. Yep. This feels like that because all these characters have no depth in whatsoever. They're just like, here is thief who's going to turn on you and be the twist of the movie. Here is farmer. Here is whatever. So, anyways, Sir Ian McKellen, Sir Patrick Stewart, Liam Neeson, Morgan Freeman, and Anthony Daniels, C-3PO himself, were considered to play Jimmy the Robot until Sir Anthony Hopkins was chosen. There are a lot of sirs in there.
A lot of sirs, yeah.
So,
wow. Can you imagine if Anthony Daniels was?
That would be. I don't know. I don't know what that would be.
So mad.
Imagine Liam Neeson doing the robot.
Yeah,
I have a certain set of skills.
That would be pretty funny. Yeah, I'm glad it ended up being Anthony Hopkins. I think.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense.
For the film nerds out there, this is Zack Snyder's second fully digital shot film after Army of the Dead, which was also on Netflix. The rest of his films are shot on 35 or 65 millimeter film, and most likely due to the partnership with Netflix, which has a long-standing rule to deliver in UHD, ultra high definition.
Sure.
So
makes sense.
Whatever.
Well, looked fine on my TV.
So whoever's footing the bill, I guess. If you're going to pay me, I'll shoot it on Polaroid. I don't care.
Yeah.
This is kind of a fun one, at least. The name of the rebel group, the Blood Axes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of Viking kind of hints here. Even like the villagers in the farming community are very Viking. They get the long house and the horns and
Sure. Yeah.
So the Blood Axe is a nod to the Viking king Eric Bloodaxe. 930 to 954 there, who died at the Battle of Stainmore, was that Pennine Hills, Cumbrian Britain, who briefly ruled Norway and later part of England in the 9th century.
Oh, that's fun.
Can't say you haven't learned something from us, a little history. So
that's right. You're welcome, listeners.
You're welcome. And then last but not least, and this is a really stupid one, this is the second Netflix exclusive film to have a longer version of the N logo instead of the ta-dum short.
I did notice that, and I did not like it.
It's because it was in slow-mo. You just couldn't see it.
Exactly. Like shave another minute off the runtime.
Yep. Just we're cutting time here. We need to make these things more efficient. So
incredible. I got a bonus fast fact for you.
You know I love the bonies.
Because we talked about it a little bit in the trailer trash of Hunnam's accent.
Oh, yes. Oh, God. I think it's
I read
Scottish?
an interview about that.
Irish,
Scottish? I thought it was Scottish too
Irish?
at first. Yep.
Okay.
So again, he's English.
Correct. Yeah, I knew that.
For the listeners. And the story of him doing the Irish accent
Oh, my God.
He's like, it's like Ireland tradition of rebellion, yada yada.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's going for.
Okay.
So he's like, oh, my favorite accent in the whole world, Belfast accent. So he's like, we did an original cut of this, and I nailed it, perfect accent. He's like, but stupid American viewers couldn't understand me, and so. Then I had to dial it back a little bit because I did too good of an accent. This is literally him in an interview saying that. My accent was too good, and the Americans couldn't understand it. So
stupid Americans.
Yeah, so I had to dial it back. So this is like he's like, so I thought about it more, and I was like, well, if there was an Irish guy in space for like 1,000 years, probably lose a little bit of the accent, and so that's what it's like the space version of the Belfast accent.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
How self-important do you have to be?
Charlie, sit down. You're not that
Chuck.
important. Chuck.
Look,
May I just
Chuck.
call you Chuck? Yeah. You're not that important. Just relax, would you? No one
I just did too good of an accent that the Americans couldn't understand it.
I mean, we do too good of a podcast that, no one listens.
Right, exactly. You can't understand it.
You can't actually understand what we're doing here because it's too good. So
yeah. And I hope when he says the Americans couldn't understand it, I hope he just means Zack Snyder. Like he's like, Chucky baby, unintelligible. I
can't understand what you're saying. This isn't a closed caption film, baby. Dial it back. Not even closed captions are going to get you.
Yeah, I thought it was Scottish at first too, but no, Belfast. That's what he's going for.
So this makes sense then, because in the trailer, it's kind of a mess. So I wonder if like those scenes he had it dialed up, and then in the movie it definitely does. It comes back. So I was like, I think he's just doing like a really basic Irish Scottish accent right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So stupid. Okay.
Awesome. I wonder how many scenes they had to reshoot.
Oh God. Well, he's only got 20 lines, so
right.
Not that much. No one says much other than when they want an exposition about everything.
Yep. That's pretty funny.
God, that's fantastic. Okay, that's it for Fast Facts. Do you want to Hollywood pitch me, mofo?
Do I ever?
Can't wait for this one. This ought to be fun.
Yeah. So as I was watching it, this movie obviously is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone meets Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian. So
yeah, I mean, Say no more.
Right off the bat, both of these movie titles too long, just like too long. This movie title.
Yep.
Didn't have to be. Didn't have to be. Harry Potter, I'll cut you some slack.
Yeah.
But Night at the Museum, not for you.
No. Battle of the Smithsonian. Come on, let's go easy.
Dumb. So Harry Potter, I mean, it's basically the same movie as Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
You got the chosen one trope all over the place. That's our hero here, who's like a guard of some kind for the princess. So who cares? So much exposition. We'll get into it in a minute.
Yeah. It's
just like Harry Potter, right? You get basically like the setup movie. Mm-hmm. So Sorcerer's Stone is the first Harry Potter movie, based on the first Harry Potter book, and they just do like the whole movie setup. He's like, oh, he was abused by his adoptive parents, just like our hero in this movie, abused by her adoptive parents. Whatever the general's name was, Belisarius.
Yeah.
Stupid. Yep. Belisarius is a classic Dursley character.
Totally.
They're assembling a crew. So like Harry picks up Hermione and Ron along the way, and like, some other people who are in Gryffindor or whatever else.
Yeah, part of the crew. Right.
Yep, she's doing the same thing. It's a crew assembly movie the whole time.
Yep.
There are some misunderstood villains in it, like in this one, Spider Guy, which actually was Spider Woman.
Spider Lady. Yeah.
We goofed on that one.
Yeah, played by Jenna Malone. Yep. Did not end up becoming a hero, unfortunately.
Nope. Sorcerer's Stone has Fluffy, the three-headed dog, which just needs a treat.
Just needs a treat. That's it.
Just like the spider.
The whole dog wants a treat. Just needs a treat.
There's definitely elements of like the weakened villain who's like trying to make a comeback stand kind of thing. Who definitely also should have died at the end and then miraculously doesn't. So in Sorcerer's Stone, that's when he touches Professor Quirrell and he like turns into dust, and Voldemort like floats off in a dust cloud kind of thing. When you're like, oh, he's definitely dead.
That's a sign of gone, right?
Right. Yeah. And in this movie, the guy is mangled, like stabbed many times, and then falls.
Club to the face.
A couple thousand feet, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how far it is from that platform down to the beach, but I mean,
who knows?
It seemed forever.
He's dead and a half. And yet, he's not.
Thanks for giving us any bit of stakes here.
Because there's a sequel, right?
Yes.
And I think that's pretty much it. So it's basically Sorcerer's Stone all over again.
Yeah, I can see that.
Meets Night at the Museum. Both have fun Napoleon references.
Okay.
In this movie, which that's something I don't understand. I'll probably gripe about at some point of like what universe is this taking place in? Because the mother world, is it just Earth? Just call it Earth.
Yeah, I didn't piece all that together, so I don't know.
They're doing like the armies march on their stomachs, and like he actually says that at one point.
Yeah.
And then there's like all the stuff with the Vikings and everything. Like that's what I'm like, is it just Earth?
Earth?
Just say it.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Just call it what it is.
Just like Night at the Museum. So this is, I think, the third Night at the Museum movie.
They made 3 of those?
At least 2 or 3, yeah. It might be the second one. I can't remember.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought this
was
the
sequel.
Yeah, it's the sequel. Yeah.
No, you're right. It's the second one. Unnecessary. Totally unnecessary. Scrap it. The first one was fun. Great. In this one, I'm pre-calling it now. Scrap the second one. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Nothing happened in this movie. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. We can move on with our lives now.
That's right. Cut your losses. Just don't put out the second one. And what else happened in here? Night at the Museum. Yeah. I don't know. There's not a whole lot. I couldn't think of anything else.
All right.
They both have Napoleon at some point. Actually, bonus fast fact in my pitch, because my pitch is a little weak. When I did a little math on 10,000 bushels here, we're talking bushels of food.
Yes, right? Grain, right?
Yep. Grain. 10,000 bushels of grain. You can feed roughly like 1,500 people for a year on, assuming you're growing wheat or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which I was like, is probably maybe like the size of the village for about a year. So I think they nailed it production wise.
Of like what they're actually going to produce to.
Good math, Zack Snyder.
Yeah, good math. Good mathing. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'll think of something else, but that's about it for me.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe something will pop up as we're going through this, you know?
Yeah. What do you got? Presumably better.
So I'm going with It's Once Upon a Time in the West. Sergio Leone, Western flick, meets Moneyball. Aaron Sorkin, Brad Pitt, baseball movie. So I'm going Once Upon a Time in the West. Both movies have outlaws in them. Both, obviously, Once Upon a Time in the West is a Western, and this movie, Rebel Moon,
screams Western.
It screams Western, like all the going into the saloon,
like Star Wars.
Basically, just like that movie, a little movie called Star Wars. Yes, just like that. Both movies have protagonists trying to help like a weaker group of people or person. And both movies, the central kind of plot about what kind of gets people moving along is about land, owning land, and like the resources you're getting from it, right? Because like when Atticus comes down, he's like, yeah, we need all your food here, your wheat and stuff like this.
Yep.
And Once Upon a Time in the West, it's all about this farmer losing her land to Progress train wants to come through, right? Big landowner. So
big train people, but
big train people. Yes.
Big people's land.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah, I think that's it for Once Upon a Time in the West.
I like that.
You get some characters getting together in that to kind of help, someone weaker who needs the help. So, Moneyball. Now, both movies are. Both movies. I mean, it's pretty obvious. This is pretty much Moneyball. Both movies are about gathering a team together.
That's right.
Underdogs. It's really just an underdog story, right?
The stats.
Yep, it's an underdog story about overcoming an evil empire. In this movie, it's the Motherland Soldiers or whatever. Moneyball, it's the New York Yankees, evil empire. We all know that.
Yeah, we can all agree on that.
We can all agree on that, right? So, but then at the heart of the story, though, Moneyball is really about like a father-daughter relationship. Because remember, at the end of that movie, he like reconnects with his daughter and is like, "I'm coming to Boston" or something like that.
That's right.
And this movie, Belisarius, although not a good dad, is trying to reconnect with his daughter. So, not that he wants to repair the relationship, he wants closure by executing her publicly, but.
Right. Crucify her in front of the Senate.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But it's more of a father-daughter story.
Yeah, tomato.
Let's see what else. Gathering a team. I got that. Underdog. A lot of money exchange. Moneyball is about signing players who can get on base for low money.
Yep.
This movie is a lot of just paying people to come and help out. So,
optimization,
right? So. And I think that's it.
Nice. Great pitch.
Keeping it tight. Keeping it short and sweet.
Yeah. Love it.
All right.
Something about Napoleon, probably. In Moneyball, I would assume. I'm assuming there's something about Napoleon in Moneyball.
Probably. All right. So are we going to get into this thing or?
I think so. Yeah. Great work. Us.
Yeah. We have, of course. I mean, when do we not? So, all right. So let's get to, we get Netflix, all the production, right? We got Netflix, we got Grand Electric and Stone Quarry. I don't know any of these.
I don't either.
Groups, so I didn't look up any of them either.
Nope. Super ominous music happening that made me hate all of these studios. So
bad job.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe not what you intended, but.
So I watched this opening part. So this opening is we get a ship flying through like a vagina-shaped hole in space.
That's right.
And Sir Anthony Hopkins, he's doing a little exposition. I watched this at 1 a.m. last night because I was trying to watch the movie before, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I don't know. He just filled us all in about the situation, right? Is that all that?
Too much. Yeah. Way too much.
Okay.
Something about there were 1,000 kings who ruled for yada, yada, and they went into space and they conquered stuff. And it's like, it's exactly what you expect.
Yeah. Okay.
But then an assassin killed both the king and the queen and ruined the bloodline. And okay, I don't care.
Yeah.
Then it talks about the world's on the edge of the outer rim here. They're rebelling. That's where Belisarius comes in, who's like trying to usurp the throne. And now they're all trying to crush the rebels. That's a lot of exposition immediately.
Yeah, I guess it is. I guess in Star Wars they do a written version, right? The opening crawl. But that's like more of like I don't know.
It's more of a it's more of a setup of things that they're not going to then talk about more in the movie, really. Like,
yeah, we're this whole thing could have, you cut this. You don't need this because
Yeah,
we
exactly.
get it through the rest of the movie. So
Exactly. We're going to get this story 4 more times.
So then the camera like pans down and we get our title card, Rebel Moon, and it gets all the way down to the planet, and it says, then it's like Child of Fire Part 1. It's like,
So dumb.
okay, I don't know. God damn this.
And like the planet is cool. Like this, whatever the world that they're on to start with here.
Yeah.
There's like a bonus Saturn that's right next to this other planet, so that it
which
takes up the entire sky.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not some, spaceologist
astrophysicist.
or spaceologist here, but that planet seems awfully close to not impact like maybe gravitational pulls or, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, we all know love is gravity, but
putting the fiction into science right there for a cool shot. At the end of the day, Zacky baby is all about the cool shot, and
it looks cool.
It does look cool. It looks cool. And then we get the stuff from the trailer, and we get Hands in the Dirt, which I was supposed to look up other movie trailers that have Hands in the Dirt. I didn't do that. I started doing it, and then I got tired. So we're introduced to Kora. She's the farmer girl here, our mysterious backstory girl, which won't be that mysterious because she explains all of it to us 3 times, I think. And then someone actually, someone actually explains it to her, to us again, I think twice. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yep.
Cool writing.
good technique.
It's like we're doing movie for dummies right now. Like, okay.
Yeah, but this whole scene I hate. Like, it's you could just cut all of it. Like, they don't set anything important up here. Like, our other guy,
Gunner.
Crap, what's his character? Gunner. Thank you. Yeah. He shows up and he's like, "Oh, you gotta come check out this elk. This guy got this elk. You gotta see it." And she's like, "Okay, I got plowing to do."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Okie dokie, bye."
This dirt's not gonna till itself, all right, Gunner.
Yeah,
Gunnar.
So dumb. She's not the worst actor in this movie, but it's also kind of stiff. Like, you're just like,
yeah,
there's no chemistry between her and Manuan.
No, not at all. So then we're at a party, right? We're at the Viking party at the Longhouse.
That's right. There's meat roasting, beers, music. Everyone's having a good time. It's been a while since we've had fresh meat. Let's expositioned.
Go. Yeah. Got horns are playing. We got everyone get it on, harvest, but let's get it on. So that actor who's playing the father, or Sidri, is Corey Stoll, I think his name is. Who he is? He played the villain in Ant-Man, and he was also in he's this guy who Sindri. Yeah, it's him. I couldn't even recognize him, and I saw him like pop up on this. I was like, what?
Wait, it's that guy? Oh
yeah,
my God.
House of Cards. He plays
good beard work.
Yeah, right. Ant-Man.
Yeah. Oh, that guy's in everything. Yeah.
Billions. Huh. Yeah. So Corey Stoll. Yeah,
I like him.
Okay. So then, he's like, let's get it on. Better harvest time. And then Cora's getting some eyes from some bros. Gunner's, checking her out. She seems pretty just like not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Into having fun.
It's this one guy that they're trying to set her up with, basically.
Yes, the guy with the beard, who you think is going to be more important later, but he's
none.
like they show like an importance of like they do close-ups of him like a couple scenes later, and then he just nothing.
Not in the movie.
Not in the movie. It's like, okay, why invest this screen time for him?
I don't know.
But she just seems a little down and kind of she's like, boring.
I think his name is Den.
Den?
There are a couple times I thought they said Dan.
Dan.
I was like, are we back to Jimmy? I guess it's a Jimmy situation.
Dan.
But I think it was Den.
And Jimmy. We have Atticus Noble, Kora, Gunner, and Jimmy.
Jimmy the robot.
Jimmy the robot. Let's just call him Jimmy. That's funny. Okay, so then we're back at the farmer house. She's back at the ranch there. We meet her dad, the guy who found her, basically father figure type character, right?
He's basically like, your last step to becoming a full member of the community is getting married to Danny.
Dan. Getting married to Dan.
You gotta have Dan's kids. And she's like, I don't know. That's the other thing too that I didn't like, is that they kind of set up the stakes and then they take them away every time. Like, like, oh, so this guy raised her and whatever else. No, she's been here for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's done time.
Yeah. It's not like you're just kind of a friend at that point, I guess. You're not really a father figure. You're just kind of like,
Yeah, they call the years seasons in this movie.
Right. See, God.
For some reason, that's the other thing that I hate. We haven't gotten it yet, but we're gonna get so much of it, listeners. Is like, again, for things with too long of titles, every planet has way too long of a title. Like makes it immediately non-memorable because you're like,
yeah,
I can't read 10 words in this 1 second that you throw it on the screen.
yeah. It was just too much. And like, I mean, stolen right from Guardians of the Galaxy because they're gonna bounce around all the planets. But at least Guardians of the Galaxy had like planet names that were, these are short and simple, and
Exactly.
But it was literally just lifted right from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, here's a space shot, name of the planet, and now we're in there.
Yep.
That would have been an easy. Pitch, Guardians of the Galaxy for this, but
we tried to take the route.
Yes.
But she does a bunch of exposition in the scene, basically explaining the child war thing from the trailer.
Yeah.
She's incapable of loving or being loved. Okay.
It's like not subtle at all, just right in your face exposition about like, I can't love. It was beaten out of me. Like, all right.
Like, okay.
All right.
Let's and Dad's like, all right, get some rest. I don't care about this anymore.
Go to bed, would you?
End this scene.
Then we're on the farm. We got some slow-mo seed dropping. Just dropping some seeds in slow-mo.
Wow.
And then a shot of Kora and that blonde woman chatting, and she throws seeds at her. I'm like, that's a waste. And then we get this shot from the trailer where she turns around and like, oh no, the ship's here, battleship's here. And we get a very slow-mo shot of her dropping the bag of seeds.
That's right. And they do have a couple of weird like throwaways here and there. Like the woman that she's talking to is like, oh, I could hear you and Denny fucking that night. And she's like, all right. Oh, wasn't me. And she's like, I think it was.
Pretty sure. Here's some seeds at you.
Yeah, so dumb.
So then she goes running. Around. It's all from the trailer. Her setting off the alarm, doing the hammer on the bell, bing, 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 bing. And then Corey Stoll, his character father, shows up. The councilman, the leader of the group here.
Yeah, he's like, calls himself the father of the or whatever.
Yeah. He's like, what do you think they want? And she's like, all right, sure.
I was calling him the mayor at this point.
Yeah. And then we're at the farmer chat, right?
Yeah, we have like a village meeting.
Kind of quick one-off little chat while the ships are moving in.
This can't be good. Ships, right? Everyone is against ships coming in.
Right? We don't like ships, right?
And then they have like a big argument between Gunner and Father about like, well, maybe we should consider selling our grain to the Empire. Like if they're going to pay better prices,
or more,
like, who cares, right?
Yeah, who cares who we're selling to?
The Gunner's like, I mean, I'm no revolutionary, but like, look, I sold it to those guys last year, and we're all fine now. So let's show them the goodwill. Let's welcome them into our village, and I bet it'll be probably fine. And
it's a weird,
unlikely.
Not that's not how it's going to work out. And it's kind of weird. They kind of forcing you to feel like he's going to be the one who sells them out later on.
Yep.
Because that little twist with which he kind of does but doesn't, and then Kai is actually the one. That's so annoying. I hate it.
Yeah.
But he's like, we need to show them value and not fear, right? And Cora's like, no, don't do that. Yeah. So team decides like, hey, let's not tell them about the surplus. That's important, right? He's like,
exactly.
We're not gonna give them. We're only gonna give them what they ask for. Don't offer anything else.
Yep.
Then we get some ship's arrival transition shot stuff from the trailer. Zipping over the water, whatever, zipping through town.
The first like 40 minutes is basically just an extended cut of the trailer.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we're outside, and everyone's just getting dust in their eyes because these ships are landing.
The space Nazis walk out just from the trailer. Our father says hi.
Right? They got to walk out in slow mo. You know that.
Yep. We get introduced to Atticus Noble.
Who Ed Skrein character, and he meets the father, and they hug for a really awkwardly long time, and I don't know why that was happening.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was very strange.
And something about the Flame King. I think that's what they're calling Balisarius now. I'm a little bit confused by the nicknames they introduce and then never bring up again.
Yeah, I don't know. Keep it simple,
Yeah.
That's all I can say. So father's like, hey, let's go up to the Longhouse. Want to come up to the Longhouse, have some beers, chat, hang out, and
let's grab an ale.
Let's grab an ale, have some chats, have a few laughs, come out to the coast. And he's like, yeah, sure, let's do that. And Atticus here seemed like he doesn't seem like a bad guy,
So far, so good.
Yeah, he's so far so good. Got a couple soldiers,
space Nazi vibes, but
yeah, a little bit, but and then you got a couple soldiers eyeing a girl, which is like, okay, that's gonna probably come back for something not good.
Yeah.
Then he goes on about they're walking around town, and Atticus goes on about like finding the revolutionaries. He's like, oh, I know you sold some grain to them or something like that, right? And he's just like,
no, not even.
He doesn't know that. He's just looking.
He's
for
just
that,
like,
right?
oh, they're around. Like, by the way, like that's what I'm out here trying to do. Right?
Yeah.
You tell me you don't know anything about these rebels that may or may not be flying around planets near here?
Yeah.
Like, no, we're just simple farm folk.
And then there's he gives them an offer on like the food on the grain, right? Which is a pretty good deal.
Triple the market value.
Yeah, and then again, he's like, "Hey, do you have a surplus, whatever?" And father's like, "No, this is what you see is what you get, and it's all right there."
Like, we got to honor the sacred fields and whatnot. Helping the mother world is kind of out of the question right now.
Yeah, and Atticus kind of calls him out on it too. He's like, "I don't know. Looks like you have pretty sweet land out there."
Y'all seem pretty well fed.
Yeah, and the father's like gives him some bullshit answer, and he's like, "Okay, bud, this probably isn't gonna last too long for you." So
you're telling me all of these beautiful people I'm seeing around me aren't eating well? I don't think so.
I don't think so. So then we're up in the longhouse, right? I don't think nothing else comes out of that we need, right? I guess if they're looking for the Devra and Darian blood axes, he mentioned their names in that scene.
They do, yeah. They exposition about the blood axes, which who cares?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So then we're in the longhouse, and and then Atticus is like, "Hey, man, who oversees this?
Who's the boss of planting around here? Because I don't buy what you're selling."
He's kicking the tires of the shop, basically. Mm-hmm. And Gunnar steps up and just sells out the father, sells them all out. He's like, "Yeah, we got an extra supply. We can hook you up."
Yeah, what an asshole.
And then father's like, "Don't believe this guy. Don't he's nothing." Trying to squash it.
Tries to backpedal. Well, Gunnar tries to backpedal even. He's like, "Well, no, I'm not." He's like, father's looking out for us, so we got to have something in the reserves. He's a little more conservative than I am, but we got to have something in the reserves.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Of course, yeah. Everyone's got to have reserves. Sure. But also, why'd you lie to me?"
Yeah. So then we do a lesson. That's what happens when you're a bad guy and you're asking for someone lies to you. You make a lesson. You make a
give me the stick.
Yeah, give me the stick. Give me the stick, Wendy.
Big stick.
Oh, that was the other connection to Moneyball. He uses his club here like a baseball bat.
That's true.
So, yeah, it's a little baseball connection there. So Atticus is like, whatever. He's like, we want everything, but then he just knocks father down and goes to town on him with his baseball bat and his club, his cool fancy club. And everyone is just shocked. And then I think his wife or whatever, she runs towards him and gets lightsabered.
She gets lightsabered, pretty quick.
I find it interesting. I just realized this, that they give the bad guys the blue lightsabers and the rebels the red lightsabers. So, it's nothing like Star Wars at all,
It's totally different, yeah.
Completely different.
God, I hate it.
Yeah.
But this is when we get the setup here of, all right, well, so the harvest is going to be done in 9 weeks. I'll be back in 10. And I need 10,000 bushels. And he's like, well, I mean, we only produce 12,000 bushels. So
we're going to starve.
Yeah. And he's like, well, that seems like a you problem. See ya.
Smell ya.
Yeah. So they've already got a death date basically in 10 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much. And so then the ships leave, but we have soldiers left behind who are setting up shop and kind of just taking over and staking claim here. We meet Jimmy. He pops up and we learn that Jimmy was like an old soldier, right? They used to have these robot soldiers that worked for the king, but when the king was slain, they all put down their weapons and became docile, kind of just work horses, right?
Yep, exactly. That's when we get introduced to Private Eris. Very briefly for some reason. Here's another guy. That's right. He completely
in
the rest of the movie? No.
Yeah, no. I was like, wait a second. Like, he has such a part in this. So, he's standing up for the villager girls. He's like,
Yep.
Did he die in the farmhouse?
Nope.
Jesus.
Just disappears, falls off the face. I thought he was going to go with them.
Yeah, I thought so too. Huh? Maybe he comes back in part 2. Who knows?
Yeah. So that's when we meet the asshole soldier Marcus and the other guy that they just call Boss mostly, who's his boss. Yep. And everyone's yelling at everybody. They're all like, "Give me some water." They're picking on the girl again. Sam is her name.
Yep. Okay, I didn't know that.
And everyone's like, making kissy sounds at Sam, and you're like, this is gonna get gross probably in a minute.
Yep.
And it does, because then the boss is like, "Oh yeah, I like him young and strong enough to put up a fight," and you're like,
okay. Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to really villainize your villain, right? Is to just make it this obvious thing.
Yep.
It's bad writing.
Yep, exactly. And then they do the test for the robot, right?
Yeah. Well, then the whole robot thing too, Marcus, right? Isn't he the one going, he's the one who gives all the exposition about Jimmy, right? To everyone there who probably already knows this information. I guess the private's there, so he wouldn't know, but whatever. And then he starts shooting Jimmy. And he's like, watch this. He won't. Yeah. So I love how he's like shooting Jimmy, right? And he's like falling over. And in the background is a horse taking a shit. And I'm like, I wonder where this is going. It's so stupid. He's a robot. He doesn't have feelings for when he lands his face in the shit. So he keeps shooting him and then he falls into the shit.
Yeah, it's classic.
So we're in a riverway, right?
He does look sad.
He does look sad. He does look a little defeated.
And that's when the boss like has a little bit of compassion. He's like, "Go clean yourself up, robot.
Yeah,
like go to the river, and Marcus, you get back to work too."
Yeah. So we're in the river, and Jimmy's down there. He's washing his face off, getting the shit off his face. And he's like,
"Robots take baths."
Yeah, he's like, "What a long day. What a long life."
Yeah, classic Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins. And then the water lady, she comes by, Sam, right? She comes by. Yeah, and this whole interaction again was just very strange because she's like making him like a little daisy crown thing while he
gives him a towel and he's like, "Oh, kindness." Like clothes for Dobby. And she's like, "Can I sit with you?" And he's like, "Please." Like, this is your fucking planet.
Yeah. Go for it.
And he's like, "By the way, do you know the story of our slain king and the beautiful Princess Issa?"
I'd be like, "Oh, she's boy, here we go."
"I don't." And he's like, "Great, I'll tell you." Like literally lines in the movie. Mm-hmm. "Great, let me tell you."
It's like not natural at all, like interaction. It's like, if someone did that to you in real life, I don't even know you. You're a robot too. I'd be like, "I gotta go." Jazz hands, walk away.
Horrible. So he's like, "Yeah, the robots decided to fight in the daughter's name. The princess, she was, going to usher in a new age of peace and compassion. She was magical, blah, blah, blah." Okay, great. And then he's like, "And they were all assassinated."
Yeah, and it wasn't that part of what he already told in the beginning? Like,
yep, exactly the same.
Okay.
Yep, just doing it again.
Just doing it again. But it's Anthony Hopkins. So Sir Anthony Hopkins. So it just sounds epic and beautiful, right?
And this time, at least, we're more focused on Princess Issa. The first time around, we're kind of focused on the king dying.
Right.
This time, it's really like, oh, actually, that young girl, when she died, that's when compassion and kindness and joy died also. Yeah. Oh, okay.
So she tops him off a little flower crown and touches his face, which lights up, and then end scene.
Yep.
So we're back at the longhouse here. The team's regrouping. Farmers here, right?
Which I was like, aren't the soldiers going to say something about this? Like,
yeah.
Oh, we're just having village meetings to talk about how to topple the empire. Like what?
Why would they have, right there? Yeah, they're right there. So they're basically just talking about how our work fights for us, and we should need to show our value to them. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and then
like, "This is all your fault, Gunner."
Yeah,
he's like, I didn't think he was going to kill everyone. Well,
how do you not have any son? Whatever. Yeah,
you goofed.
Stupid. You goofed. Your fault.
Yeah, and so there's like basically the premise here. Yeah, like you said, they're going to see that we grow food, and then they're going to be like, no, we need these guys to eat food so they can grow more food after, right? Mm-hmm. Logic,
right?
And everyone's like, "Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah,
I buy that. Yeah. Go team. Whoa, Bayside.
Food
on 3. 1, 2, 3, food." So then we're back at the Kora house here. She's packing up, and the old dude shows up, and then this is all stuff from the trailer. He's like, "Yeah, I found you in the wreckage," and it's like, "I was worried you might bring trouble to us." And
it's another one where we don't have any stakes. Like, there's no who cares? Like the dad walks in and immediately he's like, "Thought you've had enough running." We don't know any of that or any of this.
We know,
and I don't care. Yeah. And she's explaining that the village people are all delusional. They're all like, they're not gonna just leave you all alone. They're gonna come back and kill all of us.
And then he literally tells us the plot of the movie, and he's like, "You got to fight with you. We need people to help fight with us. Why don't you go find some rebels that'll help fight with us?" Literally just tells us like what's gonna happen the rest of the movie. Like,
remember those blood axes that guy was just talking about? I bet if you found them, they would probably help us. She's like, no.
And classic refusing the call, right? She's like, I'm not getting a part of this. I'm not being part of your war. It's like, well, this is your team here.
It's our war now.
Yeah, it's our war. So then we're back at the farmhouse outside, just outside where the stable or something like that, right?
Yep.
And we get the soldiers amping up their assholeness, and they're attacking the water girl.
Being a jerk to Sam again.
Yeah, and Kora's, she's putting a saddle on one of those creepy horse things, and she hears the whole thing. She's debating if she should do anything. She grabs an axe and she heads down. And the young private, whatever his name was, he stands up for her. Yeah, and the assholes just kind of, soldiers kick his ass, right?
Yeah, he immediately loses.
yeah, he gets like one punch in on one guy and then just gets his ass kicked.
Marcus is like a super villain, and he's just like, oh, like, well, you know what? I'm going to make you watch as I rape this girl.
Yeah.
And then the boss is like, whoa, Marcus, slow down. Not if I rape her first.
Just like,
and everyone's like, oh, man.
Oh, my God. And
thankfully, that's when Kora shows up.
Thankfully, she shows up. This is again a shot from the trailer. Oh, it wasn't a bucket of red paint. It was a bucket of water on the ground, by the way.
Yeah, just with some red lighting because that way, foreshadowed.
So of course she gets the slow-mo approach, and then it's all seen from the trailer pretty much extended, where a guy comes up, puts a gun in her face, and she's like, "Should I do this? Should I do this?" And then fight scene, slow-mo fight scene. The whole thing is in slow-mo. 98% of it's in slow-mo, and she basically just kicks everyone's ass. And then we got the general there. He's holding the girl at gunpoint hostage there.
Yep.
And then just Jimmy shows up out of nowhere.
Yep. And the boss is like, Jimmy, kill them all.
Yeah.
So he picks up his gun and kills the boss.
Pew pew.
Then he drops the gun and runs away, though.
Yeah, I know. And by the way, that's the last I think we see of Jimmy until the very end.
Yep. That's right.
That's another weird like plot line. Like, what's going on? And in the very end, I'm like, what has happened to Jimmy? Is Jimmy? He's off the reservation. Jimmy's just
another one like Eris. Like he could have been a useful character like the whole time.
Yeah.
We could have used him the whole movie, and I'm assuming we'll use him in the sequel. But
yeah, like you can now have a good arc for him where he's docile and hasn't fought back. He just fought back to save someone. You can
you just set it up.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
You set it up to take it away.
Take it away.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's and then the rest of the village shows up and shot from the trailer. Kora shoots the last guy on the ground right in the head, and she's like, "It's time to have a fight, motherfuckers. Let's go."
Cut to the next day.
Next day, the old man gives her gun back that he found in the crash. The guy found this in the crash. Thought you might want it. Like, okay.
Cool. He's like, our culture doesn't use weapons like these. Your culture sounds like a bunch of dumbasses.
Yeah, you're gonna get pushed around by the Empire. That's how it works.
Yeah, and this is listeners. This is 40 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Nothing has happened.
Nothing's happened.
It's the longest 40 minutes of all time.
It's ridiculous.
So much slow-mo, so little plot development.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, I think this was originally one big movie, obviously, and they cut into two parts. But it's also like the way this one ends. It's like I hate it. I hate this.
Nothing is going to pay off.
No, nothing's going to pay off. Nothing. This isn't a movie. This is just like the first part of a movie that you've just taking it. You're making it take way too long. Like the first act of a movie that you're just extending for no reason at all.
Yeah. Like this scene where she gets her gun back and then she's just like playing with it for a few minutes. And dad's like, "Oh, I thought it was dangerous." And she's like, "You're right. It is dangerous." And she's like, "Well, I'm going to go look for General Titus." And you're like, "Who the fuck's that?" And so we get exposition about that guy for a minute. Oh, it was a general I fought with that guy at one time. And he seemed cool.
What? Do you know
him? Yeah. She's like, "Gunner, you sold some shit to the rebels that one time. Can I take me to those people that you sold stuff to?" And he's like,
"Yeah,
all right,
cool. You're coming with me now."
Yeah. And so everyone's excited now. Like, well, if we can find that general and we can find an army, then
we could save the farm. We could save the farm, everybody.
There's no stakes in this movie. It's so dumb.
It's just a really long episode of Little House on the Prairie.
Yes.
We can save the farm.
It's there's 1,500 people here. Immediately in Star Wars, the premise is set up to be grand, like it's a grand scale. Like immediately you're trying to free the galaxy from the Empire. You're not trying to free the farm from the Empire.
Yeah.
No, they asked us for too much food.
What?
Well, you get 10 weeks. You could grow more. That's an option.
Why is this the reason we have to fight back?
There's no stakes.
Just do your job.
So frustrating.
And it's funny too, because later on through the movie, when you have the new characters join up and they're like, "Yeah, we're trying to save this farm and this little planet." I'm like, does this farm feed the entire galaxy? Why is this so? No,
1,500 people roughly for a year. Like I said.
What is going on?
Almost exactly enough to feed the village.
Like, this doesn't make any sense. You got to play your cards a little bit better here. So then they ride off, and then we get to a little campsite with Gunnar and Kora.
Yeah,
and
just in time for more backstory.
Oh my God. This was so brutal. So they chat. He's got some questions about her past, kind of, and then it's all stuff from the trailer. And she goes on this really long flashback, backstory, exposition, and going about how terrible the motherland is, and it goes on about the general that murdered her homeland, who is Belisarius, right? At the time, he was a general, right?
Yep.
And it's all in slow-mo. The entire flashback is in slow-mo. Her as a little girl running around, right? And
the people really put up a big fight, but the military still killed everyone because
and
overwhelming force. I don't know.
She's like, yeah, Belisarius is one of those generals who likes to be. He doesn't want to like to be up in the ship. He likes to be down on the ground with the troops and drawing blood and killing people. His face is covered in blood. And he comes up to little Kora as a girl. She's got a gun, and he holds it up to his neck, and he's like, shoot me, pull or whatever.
Classic Darth Vader.
Yeah, pull the trigger. She pulls the trigger. No bullets, dummy. And then he basically adopts her. He takes her in. And this is all still just her talking, all flashback, all in slow-mo. And we cut to a shot of the king, who is none other than friend of the pod, Carrie Ewells.
That's right.
Carrie Elwes.
Elwes.
Yeah. Princess Bride fame, He's the king, which was hilarious. They're all cheering. He's doing this more slow-mo cheering. There's all the soldiers are cheering, and it was just so much. And then...
Yeah. And listeners, this is another example of when they assign people random titles and things that also just make it more confusing and difficult to follow. They're like, actually, you know what? We're going to call Kora now Artilawis or whatever her name. Why? What are
you doing?
Don't do that.
So they go on.
They trained her.
Yep, they trained her. Montage. Yeah, a little training montage, and we get some battle shots, and then we got when they're cheering and stuff. We find that she was in love with someone. Another soldier there.
Kisses some dude.
Yep, kisses some dude, and then we cut right to his dead face on the battlefield, and she loses her shit, and it's just a really long slow-mo snow battle.
Yep,
of her running around.
Long slow-mo exposition battle. And he's
it's
they encourage us to find a lover in the military because that way you have someone to fight for, and you're like, that's seems like the opposite of what.
Yes, we
do.
That's.
More slow-mo and more slow-mo, and then at the end of this, apparently she's 18, which you're like, she looks like she's 30.
Yeah,
she probably is.
Yeah, probably.
They made her into an officer, and that's when she plants the flag from the trailer, which we thought was going to be like
a good
climax battle of the movie.
Yeah, nope.
It's a flashback.
It's a flashback.
It's an exposition flashback only. And so she fought for the king under the banner of the people who murdered her family, and you asked how I know they'll destroy you. It's what I would do, and I am them.
And then I love they come back to the camp, and he's just like, okay. And she literally says, "I'm only telling you this so you know who I am."
Yeah.
What piece of dialogue is like, oh, thank you for letting us know that's why you're telling us.
Don't exposition the exposition.
Yeah. Did you use exposition the exposition? Zack, stop writing. Just stop writing. Yeah, God, just stop writing.
I'm only telling you this so you can follow the movie better.
It's like, Jesus, man.
Like, wait, this is a movie?
What's a movie?
I'm just a simple farmer.
Yeah, I'm just a simple farmer. And then we got our first planet transition plus title card shot. New place, Port City of Providence.
Yeah, which is on Velt, I guess.
Which is the planet we're on. That's a farmer planet, but yeah.
There's a 10-word title card here, and you're like, I can't read all this. I don't care.
Yes.
Call it Providence.
Fine. Providence, great. No one wants to be there.
Good enough.
So then we're heading into the saloon, the cantina, and we just got a bunch of various creatures and ghouls and goblins, right?
We get introduced to the bounty hunters just outside of the saloon here. So we get the premise here. The bounty hunters are for the Empire. They're picking up the rebels. Oh, shit. That guy that they're picking up right now, that's the guy that we needed to talk to.
I was like, man, what timing?
Yeah.
Just so happens.
That's how we make the movie work. Yeah.
Yeah, we pulled into town when this guy gets caught. Oh, shit, that's the guy.
And that's when they go into the bar because they're like, well, we got to find another guy.
Well, so it's important too to note. So this guy that he's like, that's the guy. He comes back later on, but they got these little like kind of look like scorpion type of things, like prison, it'll kind of rides up along your spine. Yeah, kind of cool, and like cuffs your hands, your feet, and your neck, and like puts you in like this little lock thing that
Yeah, it's like a Hannibal Lecter dolly, but sci-fi.
But sci-fi, yeah, perfect.
Right.
Somebody gets some more slow-mo walking, and during
she asked at the bar for Carbost, which apparently is a drink that they don't explain, even though they explain everything else. But apparently Gunner doesn't drink it because he like gags on it, and you're like, oh, okay.
So there's a key moment when we first see the hands of our rebel scum buddy here, Kai, exchanging money with the spy. This is literally ripped right from Star Wars, the scene where you get the spy who's like watches him take off and to the Empire. It's the exact same thing. And this guy we see later on, he walks by Kora and she notes him because Zack Snyder is not very good with subtlety.
Yep.
So
nope.
I wonder if we're going to spot this guy later on, and I wonder if there's going to be a twist where Kai is actually a thief.
That would be crazy.
Crazy. So anyways,
there's a lot of like weird stuff in this movie that I would have just cut anyway. So like then there's this other alien that comes over and he's like
Djimon alien.
Yeah.
Djimon from up north. He comes over.
He's like, how much to bang you? to Gunner, and he's like, whoa, I don't do that.
Whoa, I'm just a farmer.
Yeah. And then he like grabs his nuts
soil.
And you're like,
yeah.
What?
What is this movie?
Why?
What is
Zack?
Zack. Put the camera down. So yeah, again, basically the same thing. My friend doesn't like you. I don't like you. It's basically the same thing. And,
it's exactly the same.
And Kora kicks this guy's ass, takes a knife out, and it's like, I told you to move along. Yep. Move along, you sexual deviant. So he leaves. So he leaves, and then she like turns around and asks the entire, like, not very subtle. If you're kind of like you're coming in being all secretive and like hiding yourself, and then you literally turn around to the entire bar and like, hey, I'm here. Here's my face. I'm looking for information.
Who knows General Titus? And everyone's like, except for one guy's like, I know.
And it's like a tick thing that's like feeding off a guy and like talks to the guy.
It's like, that General Titus, that crazy bastard. I think he's out fighting in the Colosseum. And you're like, wait, what?
Like Rome? Where are we going? Love and Gelato?
Yeah. He's at the fight arena. And you're like, oh, of course, the fight arena.
Of course, that checks out.
But the last hunters that were looking for him died. So, like, just so you know.
Oh my god! So then we get
the Coliseum is.
Yeah, we get our okay. So we got our next clue, our next tip for a place we got to go. Okay, good.
Yep.
And then the sexual alien there, Djimon alien, he comes back and he comes with backup this time. He's like, "Yeah, should have messed with me." Blah 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 blah.
Yep. Should have killed me when he could.
Yep. And then we got a super long slow-mo shootout scene in the saloon. So much slow-mo.
It gets so dragged out. She's like, I'll give you one more chance to walk away. And you're like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. Just come on.
Yep.
Yeah. I think there's a little more. Yeah. It's just Zack with the slow-mo, just stop, please stop. And then they clear the room, and at the last second there, our Djimon monster is about to shoot her in the back of the head, but Kai, Charlie Hunnam there, who's, Scottish guy, Irish guy.
In a perfect Belfast accent.
In a perfect, I mean, I have not ever heard a better Belfast accent. Even people who are from there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Really nailed it.
Yeah. He shoots the guy behind her and, saves her. So there's a little bit of something there. And then he's like, yeah, I can offer a ship. I got a ship. I'm going to help you out here for a price.
Yeah. Y'all need ships? I got ships.
Let's do it. And then they depart on their little ship there. And again, straight from Star Wars, we get the spy guy who Kai was literally just exchanging money with.
Yep.
Watching them take off. So we know someone's getting tipped in somewhere.
Well, we're setting our course for Pollux, but we got to make a quick stop first.
Oh, right. Yes.
I know a guy that we can find on our way.
That can help out. Yeah.
Yep. And then they do a little like throwaway. It's again like a Star Wars ripoff of like, oh, what? You've never been off planet to Gunner? And like,
yeah.
You never been in a ship before? You better hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah. And then I think, but I think now we're going to take off to our own planet
That's right.
of end of part one, outro part one planet, which that was still named better than most of their planets in this movie. So
yeah, and with less exposition. So.
Yes. So we're actually gonna take off from this podcast right now and end part one. That's it. Thanks for listening. Back on Thursday, part two. We have no idea what's gonna happen, but we do.
Could be anything.
There's so many open questions, but not really, because nothing happens in this movie. So
that's right.
They just gather a team. So we'll be back Thursday, part two. You can follow. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram. It's Meets That. ITMT Pod on Twitter, or on YouTube, wherever you listen. You can subscribe.
And, auto download, maybe.
Share with a friend. Share with friends is good too. Do that.
Or share with strangers and leave a review. Apple, Spotify, those support reviews. You can also probably like write a Yelp review or something. We say that all the time. Wouldn't that be funny if somebody did that?
That would be good.
Or we had an email in the last Trailer Trash, which we love because we read them in Trailer Trash. You can do that. Send us an email also. It's thismeetsthat@gmail.com. We love those. Or you can go to the website where we've got all of the old episodes, 250 plus, so many hours of content. Find information about Russ's book, Host, which you can buy wherever you get books.
Heck yeah.
You can get a t-shirt, and it's This Meet That t-shirt. We have lots of like art and things, logo t-shirts.
Yeah, that's right.
Safety tips, whatever you want.
It's all there.
Check it all out. It's thismeetsthat.com.